Hello and welcome to ThePrint. I am Deepika Amirapu. I am in one of the most unusual places a tourist may want to visit, the Chanchalguda Central Jail. And I am here because more than 100 tourists have visited the prison and the jail museum in the last 1 week to get an immersive experience of what it is to be behind the bars. A Feel the Jail or Jail Anubhavam prison tourism program was launched by the Telangana Prisons Department just last week on 12th May. Ordinary citizens, people like you and me, can live as prison inmates for a day or even just 12 hours if you think a realistic glimpse into a life of incarceration is too much to bear. The idea of the State Prisons Department is to not only help the public empathize with the prisoners, get an idea of the prison and its history, which was built in 1876 during the Nizam's time, but also help the public put a price on freedom and liberty, values that we take for granted on a daily basis.
This unusual initiative, a first in India, was inaugurated by the Telangana Governor Shiv Pratap Shukla at the State Institute of Correctional Administration in Chanchalguda. The state government had a similar initiative earlier in Sangareddy district, where a part of the 18th century jail was remodeled into a heritage prison. The prison museum in Sangareddy drew a lot of visitors, and officials say that this prompted them to conceptualize a more immersive experience in a bigger city like Hyderabad.
Many people are very curious. Whenever you are stopped from going into a place, you become curious as to what is inside that. So they asked, what is it like to be in the jail? And also, I felt that this can be an educational platform or an awareness program where people would be told that if you commit crime, then this is how you lose freedom. So once they go and stay behind bars, here in Feel the Jail, we make a person wear the prison uniform. He will eat.
A 12-hour stay from 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. costs rupees 1000 and a 24-hour stay costs rupees 2000. Those who are bold enough could make a solo visit to experience prison life all by themselves. But there's also scope for those who'd like a shared experience of what it is to be in jail. The facility includes different types of prison rooms for men, including high security and dark barracks, along with a separate section for women inmates equipped with embroidery machines. The high security enclosure, shielded behind 2 layers of thick iron grills, offers a more isolated environment compared to regular barracks, but only a few have signed up for this dare of late.
I'm in Barrack number 3. There clearly no prison inmates as of now, but here is a first hand experience of what it is to be behind the bars and experience life in a prison. This barrack is meant for visitors who want to visit as a group. Like you see, there are 4 wooden cots with just a thin blanket over them. A plate and a glass are the best accompaniments that you could find when you trade luxury for a life of a prisoner. A pot of water will keep you company on a midsummer afternoon. For 2000 rupees, a 24-hour experience has been curated by the Telangana Prisons Department. Being locked up in a prison means abiding by the rules set up by the jailer. At 6 a.m., when a 19th century bell goes off, prisoners are woken up by the jailer. If not, the lathi that you see is threatened to be used on the inmates. After a cup of tea and an hour's exercise, a meager breakfast is served, something that is eaten by the prisoners who are just across the boundary wall or in the central prison in Chanchalguda. During the day, education classes, skill development programs, work in the jail garden, and a short interval for games and maybe even a class in sewing. This makes up the life of a tourist prisoner during the day. And after the sun goes down, everyone is locked up by 7 p.m. with no mobile phones and absolutely no exposure to the world outside. A prison life is meant to give a tourist inmate a life in experience of seclusion, exclusion, a life of physical and psychological torture that prisoners in the Chanchalguda Central Jail go through.
But who has this experience been tailored for? Everyone, the 1994 batch Andhra Pradesh and Telangana cadre officer says.
So in front of this jail museum, we have Jail Anubhavam, that is feel the jail. What is it? Basically, it shows a person what is going to happen to you if you commit a crime. The first thing happens is you lose your freedom. Then you lose your life, that is social life. You're away from family. You're all alone. You have time to regret. But one mistake, one moment of anger or lack of control over yourself, and it just pushes you behind bars to a life of darkness. So that is what we wanted to tell them, that
To experience a life of confinement.
they do it. I told you that it is feel the jail means it's a we are emulating the real life situation in a jail. We give them the jail uniform that we have for the convicts, and they eat the actual jail food. They follow the jail routines, and they follow the jail activities, and the timings are also of the jail. So they will.
There's a bell that is rung only at that time.
Yeah, everything is as per jail, and the accommodation is also minimal. It is quite stark. So it is nothing of a luxury of a hotel or something. It's a pure jail. So they will experience what it is to lose one's freedom, to be in a confined space.
In the same compound as the prison cells and barracks, the newly opened Jail Museum stands to showcase the evolution of prisons from the Nizam era during the Asaf Jahi dynasty to the modern correctional practices in Telangana. The Chanchalguda Jail Museum is the fifth in India, in addition to the colonial ones in Bangalore, Port Blair, Kolkata, and Dagshai, a cantonment town in Himachal Pradesh. One of the key highlights of the museum is the documentation of prison labor in large-scale public projects. According to prison officials, inmates from the Chanchalguda jail contributed to the construction of the Nagarjun Sagar Dam in 1968. The museum also captures the history of the Telangana movement and the prison the activists of the time were housed in. Besides, the compound also has a small cafeteria and a convenience store. In an orderly fashion, granite slab racks have all the essentials required for a day's life as a prisoner, from soaps and towels to hand wash and notebooks with pens. The little store has it all. The store has also handicrafts, bags, and trinkets made by the prisoners. Most of these handmade artifacts are for sale, and visitors who swing by the museum could also stop by at the store and pick up a little mantelpiece or two so that the revenue goes back to the Prison Development Fund. This fund is used to train prisoners in skills or even assist those who want to complete their education. The prisoners are also encouraged to send money made from the sale of trinkets to their families so that their connection with them is intact.
To my left is the Chanchalguda Jail Museum. Here is where one of the darkest chapters of India's prison history is preserved. Inside the museum, visitors are confronted with reminders of colonial era incarceration, old punishment devices, iron shackles, historical prison records, and rare artifacts are not just preserved or housed here, they are on display. The museum also attempts to show how prisoners in India and prisons evolved from being punitive spaces to correctional facilities and institutions. The Director General of the Telangana prisons, however, says that the Feel the Jail or Jail Anubhavam tourism initiative is not about entertainment or awareness alone. She wants the people of Hyderabad and Indian citizens to understand that prisons today are also places of rehabilitation, reform, and reskilling to ensure that the reintegration of prisoners into society is smooth.